first things first, let's just unfold the drone so I can show you what you're getting here. And you'll probably notice straight away that it looks remarkably similar to the Mini 3 and the Mini 3 Pro. Hello beautiful internet family, my name is Dan Davis and I'm the creative director here at DansTube.TV, which is Australia's #1 ranked drone YouTube channel. I'm also the course creator over on the Fearless Drone Academy, which is the ultimate online drone course for beginners. And today I've got my review on the DJI Mini 4 Pro. So this video is kind of like a before you buy the DJI Mini 4 Pro. I'll give you some insights into some of the things that you probably don't know about this drone, some of the specs, some of the standout features from my tests over the last couple of weeks, some of the things that you might need to know before you purchase it, whether that's like the compatibility with the previous batteries on the Mini 3 Pro. I'll also have a bunch of comparisons and a bunch of other reviews and tests and whatnot on the channel on the Mini 4 Pro, so make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with that. But in this video, I'm focused purely on the Mini 4 Pro. I will have a standalone comparison between the Mini 3 Pro and the Mini 4 Pro very soon as well. So what's really interesting about this release is it's just over a year since we saw the Mini 3 Pro and the Mini 3, which came out after the Mini 3 Pro. And this does feel like a upgraded version of the Mini 3 Pro, which is kind of expected, right? It does feel like the next iteration, a quality of life improvement here. We've got some very exciting features, but also at the same time, it is the same camera system. So it's a f1.7 for the f-stop for the shutter speed, and then it's also a 1/1.3 inch CMOS sensor. So the same camera system, the same sensor that we saw on the Mini 3 Pro and the Mini 3. I'll get into all the improvements and the specs and all those really nice juicy details that you want to know, but just in terms of that quality of life improvement comment that I made a little earlier, this to me is really nice. So we see the new gimbal cover, which actually reminds me a lot of the Air 3 cover. So it does actually cover up the two obstacle avoidance sensors on the front as well as the gimbal. So that's really nice because these sensors are little cameras and you do not want them to be scratched or smudged or anything like that. So the fact that they're being protected is really nice. And then the other thing is you're getting this prop guard here. So this actually keeps all your props nice and tucked away. You don't have to worry about it bending out, and then as you put it in the bag, you bend the propellers up. It's a really tight fit, I love it. It's got Mini 4 Pro on the base, and then it says DJI on the front. And this has got a really nice flexible kind of rubber feel to it. It just clips in on one side, and then once you release it, you reveal the beautiful new Mini 4 Pro. Now, from my understanding of what I can gather here, it is pretty much the same body. It's the same chassis that we saw on the Mini 3 and the Mini 3 Pro. The major standouts though are these new fisheye-like obstacle avoidance sensors. So we've got two on the front that point out, but they also have a wide field of view, so they look to the left and the right. And then we've got these rear-facing obstacle avoidance sensors that again are more fisheye-like, so they can see to the sides as well as behind. And then underneath facing down is the same obstacle avoidance sensors that we saw on the Mini 3 Pro. With all of those sensors combined, which we've got the 6 obstacle avoidance sensors, that actually gives us omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, meaning that the drone, the Mini 4 Pro, is the first mini drone from DJI to be able to avoid obstacles in all directions. So that's the first major thing that you'll notice when you look at the aesthetic of the actual unit itself. The other thing is that we do get these lovely little landing legs that I love to see on the Mini 3. The Mini 3 Pro did not have them. So with the Mini 4 Pro, we're getting the landing legs here, which feel nice and stable. We're getting the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance sensors, and we're also getting an auxiliary light on the base of the unit as well. The closest thing I can compare this upgrade to is similar to what we see with the iPhone range release. So it's like every new year we get a new iPhone and there's a slight improvement each year. Now it's not a major improvement and not everyone wants to get the next iPhone, but what will happen is if you haven't purchased a drone or an iPhone in a little while, this will feel like such a major upgrade for you. So if you have a Mini SE, for example, even if you have a Mini 2, this is gonna feel like such a significant leap forward. And for me, that was literally what happened with my iPhone. I had the iPhone XS Max, I got the iPhone 14. It felt like worlds apart. So I think for a lot of people, this is a major upgrade. If you haven't purchased a drone in a little while, this could be the right upgrade for you, especially if you love those mini drones. So if you are in the market for the Mini 4 Pro and you're based in Australia, I will have some exclusive subscriber combos for my audience. It will be available through the D1 store. It's a great combo. I've got a few of them available, so they will be linked below. Make sure to check them out if you're in the market and you're in Australia. And if you want something a little bit more customized, reach out to sales@d1store.com.au. Mention DansTube, let them know what you're looking for, and they'll be able to help you out. The other option is if you're an international viewer, you're not based in Australia, but you still want to get a deal, I will also have some international deals linked below, so you can get the drone directly through DJI or Amazon. Check those links below to check all the details. So it is a 1/1.3 inch CMOS sensor capable of capturing 48 megapixel stills. The lens itself is a 24mm equivalent, and the aperture is fixed at f1.7. Now, some of the major improvements we're getting here is that now we've got 4K up to 60 frames per second with HDR video. So on the Mini 3 Pro, it could only go up to 30 frames per second HDR. So we're getting a nice bump up to 60 frames per second, 4K with that HDR video option. We're also getting one of my favorite features from the Air 3, which is the slow motion capabilities of 4K up to 100 frames per second. And I feel like I go a little bit overboard. I absolutely love the slow motion on the Air 3 and now on the Mini 4 Pro. So I filmed so much in this slow motion just because the quality is phenomenal. You know, 4K 100 frames per second, buttery smooth, it looks fantastic, and you can't go wrong with it, really. It's just so much fun to get high quality video in slow motion. We were normally limited with previous drones to that 1080p, and the image quality just wasn't there for me, but 4K 100 frames per second is extremely usable, and you can capture some amazing content. The other thing that's really cool is the fact that now we've got the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance and all the tracking modes. That paired with 4K 100 frames per second is a game changer, and especially on such a mini drone that's tiny, that you can't really hear, is so discreet in the sky. This guy's a stealthy little shooting machine, and I'm in love with it. Another improvement here is that we now get 10-bit D-Log-M, and we also get HLG color mode. So big improvement for a lot of people out there. That's something that a lot of us were wanting with the mini drone range, and this is really nice to see. It's a welcome addition on the Mini 4 Pro. The other thing that's cool to see is that the true vertical shooting, so when you flip the actual camera system into the portrait shooting, that is actually capable of doing the 4K 60 frames per second HDR. So I love that all of those features are available. The other thing is that the active track mode, all the master shots, all those different modes are available in portrait as well as landscape. So that's really nice to see. Now we do get the night shot video mode, and we also get all the regulars that we love, like master shots, quick shots, hyperlapse, panorama, all that great stuff. But we are getting something really exciting here, which is Active Track 360. Now I've done a full video on my channel that I would highly recommend checking out because I go even deeper into it. But when you actually look at the unit itself, like I said, it is the first mini drone with omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. So we are getting APAS 5.0, which typically came with that directional tracking. So you could choose where the drone was tracking you from. This is now giving us 360-degree control with active track. So that means that you can actually go from like the inner circle, so you can have it tracking you nice and close on really any direction that you want it to be tracking you on, or you can push the drone back to the outer circle to track you with a little bit of range. And you can also like draw on the screen to create these really smooth kind of sweeping movements, changing the depth of where the drone's tracking you from. And this is an exclusive offering for the Mini 4 Pro. So a big calling card here, especially if you're into active track, if you do a lot of, you know, fun stuff on motorbikes or vehicles, or if you're into jogging or riding bikes, whatever it may be, right? You know, it's going to make a big difference to have something this small and compact with that reliable omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. You're getting APAS 5.0, and then you're getting the new Active Track 360. So honestly, seeing Active Track 360 in the flesh is a lot of fun, and I feel like it's going to be the standard now for a lot of DJI drones because it does give you a lot of control, and you can change a lot of the parameters as well. So you can change the distance, the height, all sorts of things. So it's a really powerful offering here that takes Active Track to the next level. A few other standout features is the advanced return to home, which is really nice to have. You're also getting waypoints here, which is interesting because waypoints were obviously on the Mavic 3 series, we had it on the Air 3, now we're getting it on the Mini 4 Pro. So it seems like waypoints are slowly getting rolled out to their Pro range. I wouldn't imagine that their cheaper range will have waypoints anytime soon, but the Mini 4 Pro was included in that, and it's very exciting to see because the waypoint mode is fully fleshed out, so many options there, and it's going to be a welcome addition for a lot of people. The other thing that's really cool to see that came from the Mavic 3 series, the Air 3, is cruise control, a really cool feature that is a little bit underrated. It allows you to set all different parameters depending if you want it to increase in altitude while going around a subject. You can lock in that cruise control and it will continue on that path to create a nice dynamic movement. And that's something that again is coming down from those other drones onto the Mini 4 Pro. So it is really nice to see that, because a lot of people can't afford the Mavic 3 series and they can't afford the Air 3. So to have something a little bit cheaper again that's giving you all those pro features, and to also have that in a drone that's under 250 grams is a big calling card here, because you're getting so many options. A few really cool augmented reality features that have come out on the Mini 4 Pro are actually super useful and make it a lot safer of a flight. So the first one is it basically pops up with an augmented reality home point. So on a controller like this, the RC2, which I'll get into very soon, if you're not connected to Wi-Fi, if you're not connected to your phone, if you're not hotspotting to it, and if you haven't downloaded any offline maps, then you're going to struggle to know where you took off from, because it doesn't fully display it correctly. And that can be a little bit daunting for some pilots, but what this allows you to do is you don't even have to open up the map. You can just turn your drone and see exactly where the home point is. It makes it a lot of a safer flight, and it makes it very easy at a glance to see where the landing point is, the takeoff point, and makes it very easy to come back and land. The other cool augmented reality offering, which we saw in the Mavic 3 series, is basically when you press that return to home now, it will actually show you a path in augmented reality of where the drone's going to fly before it starts to come down. Again, really handy to see this in augmented reality, because it lets you see exactly where it's going to start coming down. It will show you what's obviously in the environment, because you're getting the camera feed, and just makes it a lot easier, like a lot in terms of, I guess, peace of mind. Makes it a lot easier for you to feel safe knowing what the drone is doing. And then the other thing is when the drone starts coming down, the camera will point down and it'll actually show a shadow of where the drone is going to land. So that, combined with the auxiliary light on the base, really nice to see on a mini drone. You know, all these features are great because as it starts to come down, camera tilts, and then it will show you this is the outline, the shadow of where the drone is going to land. If it is a low light spot, then the light will turn on automatically if you've got that setting enabled, and then the drone will pretty much show you exactly where it's going to land, so you know that it's going to avoid rocks and debris and all that kind of stuff. So again, really nice to have those features, and I'm glad that they came onto the Mini 4 Pro. Let's touch on the new controller that we saw with the Air 3. This is called the DJI RC2. It's the upgraded version of the RC, which is a great controller still, but this guy improves in a few different areas. So firstly, we get the antennas, which is a nice thing because you can direct them and improve your range slightly. That is a nice bonus, especially for people out there that like that tactile approach to flying, where you feel like you got even more control over it. I really do enjoy that personally. The other thing is the performance, which is probably the biggest calling card, because the original RC was a little sluggish at times. This guy performs perfectly fine in all scenarios. You also get some internal storage on here, and yeah, it's just a great controller. So this actually gives you the OcuSync 4, which again, both the RC2 and OcuSync 4 were exclusive to the Air 3. We're now getting them on the Mini 4 Pro, which means we get 20 kilometers of range with OcuSync 4, and we're getting a really reliable flight experience. When it comes to battery life, there are a lot of questions surrounding how it works with the Mini 3 Pro and the Mini 4 Pro. You know, are the batteries interchangeable? Are they the same battery systems? Now, I can confirm, this is confirmed by DJI, that the batteries on the Mini 3 Pro are both interchangeable with the Mini 4 Pro. So the Plus battery and the standard battery both work with this drone perfectly fine. It's the same system, you can load it up, but there is something that you need to know. Before I get into that, in terms of the flight time, you're getting 34 minutes of flight time with the standard battery, and you're getting 45 minutes of flight time with the Plus battery. And now where it gets a little bit confusing here is that basically the Plus battery, which is the one that doesn't have text on it saying that it's under 250 grams, this battery works perfectly fine between the units. So the Mini 3 Pro, let's say you've got a few Plus batteries, you can just load them up, and it doesn't make any difference, right? Because the drone's already over 250 grams here. Now this is the battery from the Mini 3 Pro, and this is the one that actually says ultra light 249 grams. So this battery again will work with the Mini 4 Pro. It will load in, you'll have no issues with flight, but it will take the drone over 250 grams. So you actually need to buy the updated Mini 4 Pro battery that makes sure that the drone is under 250 grams. So let me just say that again, Mini 3 Pro battery will take the Mini 4 Pro over 250 grams. So you need to make sure that you get the Mini 4 Pro battery that will make sure that the drone's under 250 grams. With that all being said, this still is a sub 250 gram drone. So for a lot of countries, this is a big calling card. The plus battery option is great if you can get away with flying a drone that's over 250 grams. I find it nice to have a combination of them. You know, like if you are gonna travel somewhere, it's nice to have those lighter batteries, but then it's also nice to have the plus ones if you're in an area where you're okay to fly and you're away from a bunch of people and there's no major rules or regulations. It's nice to have a combination of them. Interesting that they're all interchangeable, but there is some nuance within that. So where does all of this leave us? I guess it really depends on what drone you have. If you even own a drone, maybe this is your first time buying a drone. But I think for a lot of people, you probably already own a drone and you've been waiting for an upgrade. This is a phenomenal drone for its size, for its price point, for the features that are available to it. It's a really good drone, like especially for its size. Like I love how tiny this unit is, how discreet it is, how quiet it is. You know, the camera quality is great. You're getting omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. You're getting a bunch of pro features, phenomenal range, great battery life. It's a really great offering, right? So I think for a lot of people, this is a worthwhile upgrade. But like I said at the beginning of the video, and I'll dive into this even deeper in my comparison between the Mini 3 Pro, I guess it really does depend on your needs, right? Because for people who own the Mini 3 Pro, is this the next upgrade you need, or is it something that you could hold out for the next version, for example? If they're potentially going to release this mini range every year, this might not be the one for you right now. Maybe you're really happy with the Mini 3 Pro, and maybe this isn't the one for you. But potentially, like you might have one of the larger drones, and maybe you want a smaller drone. Like you've just purchased the Air 3, you want something a little smaller that's still feature rich. This is a really nice complementary drone because it's a very similar camera system, similar offering, and it's going to be easy to match the footage up. It also gives you a mini drone, right? It gives you something a lot more discreet, a lot easier to pack away. So I guess it does depend on your journey and where you're at. I think this is a perfect drone for a lot of people, but you just have to ask yourself what you need it for, whether this upgrade is worth it for you right now. But for a lot of people, I think this is a really cool upgrade. If you've got a Mini 2 or a Mini SE or something a little older and you have been holding out for whatever reason the Mini 3 Pro didn't catch your attention, this is a major upgrade. It literally is the mini drone to the max. You've got really everything you need in a mini drone. I'm actually quite blown away that they've been able to put the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance on the drone and still keep it under 250 grams. Very interesting to see about the battery technology, how it's a different battery to keep it under 250 grams. So they've obviously had to work on that very hard to keep it under, but a really nice job, DJI, and a worthwhile upgrade for a lot of people out there. So I'd love your thoughts. Let me know, is this the right drone for you right now, or are you holding out? Let me know in the comments below and let's start a little bit of a chat. I'll talk to you there, and peace out.